Dr. Haresh Asnani, MBBS, DOMS, MS, Fellow Vitreoretinal Surgery, is a vitreoretinal surgeon at the Advanced Eye Hospital and Institute. He has more than 2 decades of experience in the field of vitreoretinal surgery and is accomplished in treating the numerous diseases affecting the vitreous, macula, and retina. Today, Dr. Naresh Asnani will talk about diabetic retinopathy, how it can be treated, and what are the symptoms you should look out for.
The retina is actually like a camera. It's a living camera. Let me show you how it is just like a camera. If you see this camera, it has a lens in front, and this is a digital camera, but you have film at the back which takes the pictures. And the eye is just like a camera. And if you see this model of the eye, the lenses and the cornea which is in front, the light enters into the eye and then it's focused on the retina. So the retina is the layer which acts like the film in the camera right here, and this works exactly like our CCDs or the films work in a camera. So in short, it's a transparent layer right at the back of the eye. Light enters through the front of the eye, through the cornea, from here or here, and then it is focused by the lens onto the retina. This retina contains cells which are known as photoreceptors, and these are light sensitive cells. These receive the light, they transmit this information through the nerves, which is the optic nerve, right into the brain. Then the brain interprets this as a picture, an image or a photograph, whatever we are seeing. The common problems that we see in the retina are in not of any particular order, but the most common ones we see are diabetic retinopathy, then we see age-related macular degeneration, then retinal vein occlusion common in patients with blood pressure, retinal detachments, retinal holes and tears, a lot of injuries to the eye which involve the retina, and common problems in children which are associated with some inborn disorders, genetic disorders, and something that we are seeing a lot right now is retinopathy of prematurity. So diabetic retinopathy is one of the most common retinal disorders that we treat nowadays. As you know, India is the capital of diabetes of the world, and the largest number of diabetics would be present in India and China alone, and maybe we'll overtake China in the next 15 to 20 years as the diabetic capital. And obviously we are going to see more and more complications of diabetes like retinopathy, nephropathy, neuropathy, etc. The numbers are so mind-boggling that everybody needs to be aware of diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy is basically a disorder which, because of a lack of blood supply to the retina, which occurs in other parts of the body like the kidney and the brain, the retina also receives a little less blood supply. This is a condition called hypoxia. And because of hypoxia, the retina, being an organ which demands so much oxygen just like the brain from the blood, starts suffering, and the earliest changes what we see in diabetic retinopathy are because of hypoxia. There is swelling in the retina, there are blood clots on the retina. These are the early stages known as non-proliferative or background diabetic retinopathy. Then the further advanced stages, moderate or advanced diabetic retinopathy, where these blood clots increase, there is more swelling, and then the patient's vision gets affected. Here we have an entity called as diabetic maculopathy, where the central retina, that is in this model I can show you, this is the center of the retina here where the rays of light are focused, and maculopathy involves the center of the retina. And at the earliest stage of maculopathy, the patient's vision can get affected. So if untreated, early diabetic retinopathy and maculopathy can progress into a proliferative diabetic retinopathy stage. Now that's a sight-threatening condition where there is bleeding from the retina known as vitreous hemorrhage or pre-retinal hemorrhage. Then blood vessels which grow from the surface of the retina, they invade the front part of the eye, and that can be a very dangerous and very fast progressing condition, and that requires surgical intervention in most of these cases. The end stage of diabetic retinopathy, if it is not treated even then, is known as neovascular glaucoma, where there is a bleeding, growth of blood vessels into the front part of the eye, and because of this the intraocular pressure, the eye pressure goes up. That can result in a painful blind eye, and that's the end stage of diabetic retinopathy. In the early stages of diabetic retinopathy, patient has no symptoms. Vision is normal, nothing is affected, only we can see a few blood clots or few exudates on the retinal surface. But as diabetic retinopathy advances or diabetic maculopathy starts developing, patient's vision can go down. When there is bleeding in front of the retina or from the retina, then patients experience floaters, a shower of black cloud or black spots in front of the eye, and that's something which the patients start running to us for treatment. And when the proliferative stage starts, the proliferative vessels which growing on the retina, they pull the retina, and you can get retinal tears, sudden loss of vision because of that. The end stage diabetic retinopathy, of course, which results in a rise in intraocular pressure, can be very painful, which of course patient will not be able to bear at all. See, by intraocular pressure, I mean there is a certain amount of pressure in the eye which maintains the globe, the eyeball, in its proper shape. And this also has a role in circulation in the eye. So just like we have normal blood pressure, which keeps the blood pumping, and the heart pumps blood at a certain pressure and sends it to the end organs at a certain pressure, we have an intraocular pressure. The normal intraocular pressure is something around 17, 18 up to 20 millimeters of mercury. If it goes above that, it starts pressing on the optic nerve and other important organs in the retina, the retinal nerve fiber layer, and it can cause gradual loss of vision. Diagnosis of diabetic retinopathy has to be done at the earliest stage possible. So the most important thing is screening of diabetic patients. As soon as we come to know that somebody has diabetes, should have a baseline retina checkup. Diabetic retinopathy can occur in some bad diabetics even in a couple of years or 3 years time, but there are patients even after 10 years of diabetes not getting any retinopathy, they are very lucky. So screening of diabetic retinopathy is very important, and the moment we see some changes of diabetic retinopathy, like the hemorrhages on the retina or some exudate or swelling on the central retina, then we do some tests. One test is called as OCT, optical coherence tomography, where we see the thickness of the retina in the center. If the thickness is increased beyond a certain limit, then we need to take some action. Then there is another test called angiography, fluorescein angiography, where we see the circulation of the retina. Just like you have a coronary angiography, which is very familiar to everybody, that's where we see the blood supply of the heart muscles. Here we see the blood supply of the retina. So we inject a dye, it's a fluorescent dye which is injected intravenously, and then photographs are taken of the retina. With those photographs we can see how good the retinal circulation is. And sometimes there are some surprises. Because of this test, in a seemingly normal looking retina, we are able to actually see some parts where there is absolutely no blood supply to the retina or small leaking blood vessels, and we can pick up these cases very early. The moment we have diagnosed diabetic retinopathy in a patient, we have to treat it. Let me first talk about diabetic maculopathy, because that's a smaller entity where there is swelling in the retina. There are injections which are given into the retina. We can give intravitreal steroid injections, or alternatively new therapies in the form of anti-vascular endothelial growth factor injections. These are bevacizumab, ranibizumab and pegaptenib injections. These can also be given into the eye to keep the diabetic maculopathy under control. But this is not the final treatment. The patient still has to control his or her diabetes. The patient has to control his serum lipid, that's cholesterol and triglycerides, very well, and also keep other diabetic nephropathy and other factors also under control, that's serum creatinine, all other blood parameters. The treatment of diabetic retinopathy, which is the other part, in early stages we don't do anything, but moment we see there is ischemia of the retina. By ischemia we mean lack of blood supply. When we see ischemia of the retina, we try to treat that with laser. Doing laser treatment improves the blood supply to the rest of the retina. So this has a preventive role. Then if there are blood vessels growing on the surface of the retina, these can be destroyed with laser. This is called as laser photocoagulation. Now, if the disease progresses beyond that stage, then we need to do surgery. Surgical treatment for diabetic retinopathy is in the form of a surgery called vitrectomy. This is the basic surgery. Vitrectomy means removing the vitreous. The vitreous is the gel which is in the center of the eye here. And when the blood leaks from the retina, it occupies the center of the eye here and the patient cannot see. So this blood is removed from the center of the eye. Vitrectomy surgery involves making openings into the eye from the sides here, and these openings enable us to go into the eye, remove the blood. After we remove these blood clots, then we see the retina under the microscope, and if there are growing blood vessels on the surface of the retina, we remove those blood vessels with scissors, vitreous scissors, and after those are removed, then the retina is treated with laser, and then we inject a kind of a gas or silicone oil into the vitreous as a substitute for the vitreous and put the retina back into its normal place. Sometimes we can combine surgery with the injections also. In very bad cases where there is the retina is very angry looking, bleeding a lot, we first inject these drugs called bevacizumab or ranibizumab, and then after 4 or 5 days take up the patient for surgery. It makes surgery a little easier.
Found our information useful? If you find the video helped you, please like it. Tell us what you think about our videos. Please leave a comment. To watch our other videos, click here.